It's that time of the week where we talk about community events, community issues, community things going on. It is Our Town here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swinson. Our Town, as always, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. A little bit later on in the program, we'll talk about the Waukon High School musical that's coming up this weekend. It starts tonight. It's the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. High school students Annie Ellingson, Caleb Perkins, and musical director Sarah Bieber will be joining us later on in the program. An interesting exhibition just opening up at Vesterheim. We'll talk about that with LauraAnn Gilbertson. She is the chief curator of the Vesterheim Norwegian American Museum in Decorah. But first things first, open enrollment on the Health Insurance Exchange is underway as we speak. And when we need to talk health insurance, we need to talk to our guy, Mr. Brian Huinker. He's with Group Benefit Partners in Decorah, and he will be our first guest this morning on Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Well, it's that time of year. It's open enrollment time on the Iowa Health Insurance Exchange. And when we talk health insurance, we talk to our guy, Mr. Brian Huinker from Group Benefit Partners in Decorah. Brian, a long time no speak, but we always speak at this time of year, so no surprise.
Good to see you, Darren.
The Health Insurance Exchange was open as of Monday of this week. What do we need to know?
Well, geez, Monday was just yesterday, and if I would have had to guess, I would have told you it was Friday today, if that tells you anything. But no, we're off to a good start. Biggest change this year is that with the passage of the American Rescue Act last April, there is no income cliff. Meaning last year and prior years, if a married couple, for example, made over $70,000, they got no help on their insurance via tax credits and subsidies. And now we just ran a quote yesterday for a couple in Northeast Iowa that makes $180,000. They have access to a plan for free.
How does that exactly work? Who's paying for that?
The debt. Your grandkids, Swens.
Well said. And is that the main thing that is different this year as compared to years past, or is there other things that folks need to keep in mind?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Our two major companies are still Medica and Wellmark. A little update with Wellmark in the Northeast Iowa area. In the past, there had been an issue with Gunderson Clinic locally, where that was not in network, but now they came to an agreement July 1st. So the Wellmark plans are generally less expensive, and in most cases, they have a little better benefit. Main difference is with the Wellmark plan, you have to stay in Iowa. With the Medica plan, the same holds true, but you also have access to Gunderson and La Crosse. So some of our folks that doctor there have a little more medical need. They'll pay a little bit more to have the access out of state to Gunderson.
And I know there was a open enrollment period last year. I think after the April passage of the American Rescue Act. How many people signed up at that time?
I would say we were very, very busy. I'm thankful that my three coworkers are still employed and didn't quit on me, because it was a stressful time after our busy season. So a lot of our folks are aware of it, but it's good for your listeners to know. And again, I'll just highlight, we've had a lot of people in the past that have called and made, with that 70,000 income limit or 50,000 for a single person making 75,000 now can get a pretty good amount of tax credits to help pay for their plan.
And I know in years past, there's always been a little bit of doubt among people that, hey, I make too much money to qualify for that. Are you sending the message that it's always good to check and see what's out there?
Without a doubt. I mean, the rules really got flipped upside down. We're very confident. You can never predict the future, but this program has survived an all Republican administration, ups and downs through 3 presidents now. What we're hearing is the income cliff was a kind of an odd rule, and it seems to have bipartisan support. So our thinking is that while it's right now they're saying it's good through 2022, we think that it's going to be indefinite or until something else major changes in the market.
Has this plan gone well enough over the years since its implementation that we're getting to a point where the politics are out of it? Is it moving in the right direction related to that?
I think so. I mean, there's still going to be some friction. The insurance companies are always smarter than the government. I mean, I'm not sure that it's right that a couple making $180,000 gets $1,500 a month from the federal debt and the government to help pay for their plan. So there's little things like that to work out, but in general, I would say the overall price of the insurance is stabilized. Last year, in fact, Wellmark's rates went down 42%. So we're starting to see that stabilize. Now I think the government or ideally somebody more efficient and smarter than them could come in and analyze some of these insurance companies that are kind of inflating the tax credits legally. That'd be the next kind of issue if you were a taxpayer watchdog.
And when you look at the benefits that are available, even for people making a good amount of money, when you look at this, are you going to see eventually the day that group health insurance is going to go away?
That's, to me, the next shoe to drop. And because it really doesn't make sense. There's a lot of employers out there that do a great job, and obviously the price continues to go up. They're paying 90% or 100% of the single plan, that they're taking care of their employee, but the small business can't afford to necessarily pay for the spouse or a full family plan, so they're passing that cost on to the employee. And one of the rules with the exchange now is the government says to Joe small business that you have to offer affordable coverage to your employee. It doesn't matter how much it costs for your spouse. So imagine if you're you work for a small business, great, my insurance is paid for, but to add my spouse who potentially farms or has a small business daycare operation and not available to access group coverage, on my $40,000 salary, I might have to pay $1,200, $1,200 to $1,500 a month to add my family. And that to me is unaffordable, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole act. They haven't addressed that yet, but in my opinion, that's the next step. I don't think it'll go full single payer in the near term, but I do envision a day in the next few years that the employer basically takes care of the employee, and the spouse and kids can go, either through a private public kind of exchange like we have today, or a single payer type system.
And with all the rules and regulation out there, basically, it's best to talk to people like yourself or any other insurance agent to let you know how to handle all this, correct?
That's our biggest piece of advice, and you certainly don't have to see us, but we estimate via some of the stats we see that about half the people in our area sign up on their own, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue is when something happens or a claim goes sideways, we've got a ton of experience, as do other agents, in smoothing out that process. It doesn't cost folks a dime to use a professional. It's all, the rates are the exact same. We make a little bit of money, but we're also there to help when something goes wrong, and then to provide you updates like we had mid-year, with the Rescue Act and different pieces of advice. It's kind of a big deal, and we're certainly here to help and willing.
And how do folks get a hold of you?
They can call our office and ask for Nikki, Maddie, myself, Peggy, 563-382-2981.
Anything else the public needs to know? Anything else we're missing this morning?
There's only 44 days left, so call 382-2981. Get on the calendar. If you did it yourself last year, no problem. It'll be 5 minutes, but we can associate our name with your app and then be able to help you. Instead of calling an 800 number, call somebody local and we'll be able to sift through the info for you.
Appreciate the time, Hink. Thanks for the valuable information and thanks for the time this morning.
You bet. Great to see you, Swens. Go Vikes.
Brian Huinker is with Group Benefit Partners in Decorah. The health insurance exchange sign up started Monday and goes through January 15th. Our guest now is LauraAnn Gilbertson. She is the chief curator of Vesterheim Norwegian American Museum in Decorah. And the topic of discussion this morning will be a new exhibit that is opening up next week. First of all, LauraAnn, thanks for taking the time this morning.
My pleasure to be with you.
Tell us about innovators and inventors. What's it all about?
Well, it's just like it sounds. Innovators, inventors, it's Norwegian Americans and Norwegian immigrants who have offered all of us some great problem solving and creative solutions to make our lives better. So we're focusing on about 50 different people who have offered these kinds of improvements for us. So we can talk a little bit about patents and copyright and trademark, and then give some other examples. So maybe your listeners may not have known that a Norwegian American invented the airport jetway. That little corridor that we all use to get from the airport to the airplane, that is a Norwegian American invention.
Really? Wow.
And another great one that we really love is the pizza delivery bag. That too was a Norwegian American inventor, a woman in Illinois. And so we're hoping to draw attention to some of these firsts and interesting stories, but also just look at how people have come up with creative solutions to make all of our lives better.
How'd you come up with the series idea for such a thing? Because like the pizza delivery bag, you just assume it's there, and somebody had to come up with it first, I guess. And it's awesome that it's a Norwegian American that did that. But how'd you come up with the idea for this overall series?
Well, the first, I think, was that we kept hearing about inventors and we wanted to share their stories. And at first it seemed like maybe there would be a couple of them, but the more research we did, we were running into more and more and more. A lot of people have heard about John Tokheim and his gasoline pump and Ole Evinrude and the outboard motor, but we also were excited to share other stories. And sometimes the person only had one invention or had improved something existing, but there's so many interesting stories in all of this. What led them to this, what inspired them. And so we're hoping that all the visitors will enjoy some of these human stories, as well as hopefully lots of these aha moments where they said, oh, I didn't know who had invented this or had given that much thought. I think that's for a lot of us. We haven't given much thought to the things that we use every day, or also some of these inventions that were quite important historically, but we've moved past it with technology, but the stories are still worth telling.
You've given me 3 aha moments already, but tell us about the program you got coming up on next Monday night, November 8th. What's going on then?
Oh, great. We have a very exciting presentation. We're doing a lecture series in conjunction with the exhibition. And so Monday, November 8th, we have Jamie Holmes, who has written an award-winning book called 12 Seconds of Silence. It's about some work during World War II to create the proximity fuse. And this was very important technology at the time. And many say this is what helped tip the scales in favor of the Allies during World War II. So Jamie will talk about the proximity fuse and a group of scientists who came up with this, including Merle Tuve, Norwegian American. And it should be quite a fascinating presentation. And then the next week, November 15th, the daughter of Merle Tuve, one of these important inventors, and the daughter of another World War II era inventor will be talking. So we'll be hearing from the daughter's points of view about their the contributions that their fathers made to physics and chemistry. So you can watch one or both, and it should be very interesting to have both the historical perspective and then these human perspectives. And for both of these are on Zoom, and they're at 7 o'clock on Monday, November 8th and Monday, November 15th. And people can get the Zoom link for free by visiting Vesterheim's website.
And those are the lecture series related to this exhibition. As for the exhibition itself, how long will that exhibit be up?
Oh, sure. The exhibit is up right now. It's already up, and it's going to be up until the end of May. So
Wow.
people will have a few chances to come and see that. We're open daily from 10 to 4. And so people can come check out the exhibition. There are also 3 more lectures in 2022. We're trying to do something about every 2 months. So there will be additional lectures coming up, and you'll find those on our website as well.
And is this related to the Innovators and Inventors series?
Yes, it is. So we have the 2 coming up just next week and the next week. And then we've got something in January, March, and May. And again, we're exploring different aspects of innovation, like how to teach innovation and the art of innovation. We've also got a lecturer coming up in January. Many of your listeners will have heard of Rick Steves, who is an important travel author and host, and he'll be doing a topic that we call an innovator abroad. So his presentation is via Zoom in January. So we've got quite a few things happening in conjunction with the exhibition. And I'd like to mention that both the exhibition and the lecture series are sponsored by the Thompson Family Foundation. We're very grateful for their help in bringing this to everyone.
And I'd imagine there's a lot of people like the Thompson family that make a lot of your programming possible at Vesterheim. Is that correct?
That is so true. Businesses, individuals, families, grants from time to time, and we're very grateful to all those folks. There are so many things that we bring you each and every day that are made possible by our sponsors.
Anything else you want to pass on regarding this series, this exhibition, or Vesterheim as a whole, as long as we got time this morning?
Oh, sure. Well, I hope that people will visit vesterheim.org, Vesterheim.org. You can get the full lecture series as well as sign up for the links for Zoom. Those are all free, certainly to come to the museum and see the exhibition. And then just keep track of us, please. We've got a lot of free programs online right now, and we're doing some in-person things as well. Coming up in early December is our Norwegian Christmas event that I know many people like to come to every year.
And all sorts of fun stuff, all sorts of interesting stuff going on at Vesterheim continuously throughout the year. It's definitely a treasure of our community. And LauraAnn, we appreciate you taking some time to tell us about a very interesting series. You never know what Norwegian Americans have come up with, and they've made it a better life. And I say that with the last name of Swenson. Of course, I'm a little biased.
Thanks, Darren. It's been great to be with you today.
LauraAnn Gilbertson, she's the chief curator of the Vesterheim Norwegian American Museum in Decorah, Innovators and Inventors exhibition through May, and the first in the lecture series coming up next Monday night. The Waukon High School musical is going to be taking place this weekend. It's the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, and with us a couple of the performers, as well as Sarah Bieber from the Waukon High School faculty and staff, Annie Ellingson and Caleb Perkins. And Annie, I guess we'll start with you. Tell us about the event coming up this weekend. For those that are unfamiliar, what's the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee all about?
It's a musical about how many is it? 7? Mm-hmm. 7 kids who go up and compete in a spelling bee, and they all are very different. The only way I can think to describe them.
They have very unique personalities.
Very unique.
And quirks. And costumes.
Yeah, and Caleb, how long have you guys been working on getting things ready for this weekend?
Since August, right?
Yeah, August.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and how often do you guys rehearse? How often do you guys get together on a weekly basis to make sure you guys are going to be a well-oiled machine starting tonight, Caleb?
Like 3 nights a week for 2 hours each day.
3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours.
3
6
hours.
to 9 every night, or every Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
All right. And Sarah, I'll ask you, how many young people are involved in this production?
There's about 30 people involved total between the crew, the cast, and the pit. So we've got myself and Sarah Hagen actually also doing the assistant director. And then we've got some parents involved, crew members, pit band, backstage, sound and lighting, and stage crew.
And Annie, I'll just go in the other direction. How fun, how enjoyable is it to be a part of a production like this? And how anxious are you guys to get going this weekend to see all the work you put in, put to fruition?
It's been really fun, honestly. There were a few times where I was like, I am getting annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. But overall, it was a
production
blast.
week. We all get annoyed with each other a little bit.
Last 2 weeks, it was a little rough because we're doing lighting and sound and mics, and never fun. This week is never fun. But it's been a load of fun overall. I can't wait for this weekend. It'll be a blast.
And Caleb, what's the most enjoyable thing for you to be a part of this production?
Probably all of us basically being together, because when one person's gone, it doesn't really go well, but when we're all together, it's a lot more fun when we do the whole songs or just acting in general.
So, and Sarah, you mentioned 30 kids involved. How do you guys go about selecting who is going to be in what role?
Well, we've got auditions in August. And when the kids come in, they have to be honest with us about their schedules, if they're involved in cross country or in volleyball, in football, cheerleading. And the students that can really be there quite a bit are usually the students that get picked for the bigger roles. And then we kind of trickle down from there, the smaller roles, and it's based on singing abilities, acting abilities, and then just general interest. We've got some kids that don't want to sing, they just want to be in the show. So we find ways to keep them involved as well. Otherwise, they've got kids doing hair, makeup, sound boards, light boards, spotlights, kids on crew, and it's a really neat time. Right now, we're doing all of our decorating. So we're decorating our set, and that really brings out more talents from the kids and interests. If the kids get up there and they like to decorate and build things and be artsy and craftsy, it's kind of been an arts and crafts class right now this week with our set building.
all those important lessons that you found out in kindergarten, they're still applicable today. Annie, what role are you playing in this production?
I'm playing Logan Schwartzengruben.
So, and Caleb, what's your role, Caleb?
My character is called Chip Tolentino.
Okay.
Out, and he actually won the spelling bee last year. So now he's trying to come back to the spelling bee this year. He's a little pretentious. He thinks he's going to win, but you'll have to come to the show to see who actually wins the bee.
So, and are you that way? Are you a good speller in real life, Caleb? I'll ask you that. So.
No, I'm not.
But you play the role very well. I guess I'll ask you next question. I'll go right in the line to Sarah. When will this production take place?
This Thursday at 7 o'clock in the Waukon High School auditorium, and also this Saturday in the Waukon High School auditorium, also at 7 o'clock, and then Sunday at 1 o'clock for a matinee.
All right, Annie, how can folks get tickets?
You can go on our Facebook page. Just look up Waukon High School Musical and then find the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee event. You can either call Brenda Doherty or you can order them online with the link that's on the page. All
right, sounds like fun. Caleb, I'll start with you. I'll give you all one final chance to just invite people to come this weekend. Caleb, watch folks come out and see the show this weekend.
Well, people should come to this one because, well, it's for some of us, our seniors last year that they're ever going to do this, and they're really having a good time. They're doing a really great job. Oh, and also we get to speak to some of the audience members to bring them on stage to be part of the actual production.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we have some people come in to do like the practice with us, and they have a great time. We have a great time with them.
The show is so much more fun. And that's part of the, the rough part of this week too, is there's a lot of improv. There's a lot of the kids have to think on their feet, and whatever happens, they have to react to it. And so we haven't had our quote, quote, volunteers this week, and we've been just working with nothing. So when we get actual volunteers on the stage that are doing the spelling bee along with the kids, it just comes alive. It is so much more fun. So we're really looking forward to having volunteers sign up, and you can just sign up at the door to be a guest and be a volunteer speller on stage. We can only take 3 a night, but if you put your name down, we hope that you'll get picked.
And Annie and Caleb, I'll ask you, you guys being a part of this production, tell us, it might be an obvious question, but tell us the difference between just rehearsing your lines and memorizing those and a little improvisation. How do you, what's the difference between the two? How do you change your focus between the two?
We have to memorize all of our lines, obviously, so that we can get it on stage. And as soon as you are off book and you know your lines, everything just kind of like, everyone clicks because they can start acting a little bit more and less focusing on the lines. And that really pulls together the entire show. I remember first week we were without our books. It was a little rough because nobody knew their lines and we were kind of all like blanking out. But the week after that, everyone started to kind of like pull together, and it really was probably my favorite week so far. Just when everyone kind of realized that this was going to work, and we were going to have it ready by the show time, and everything was going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
And Caleb, how do you approach the improvisation end of things regarding this production?
Well, for me, I've never been that good at improv in the first place. So this is my first time basically trying to do improv in a show. So when I do it, I just basically, I think of this character, what would he say? And just throw something out there and try to get a laugh, basically.
Well, and I'd imagine it's kind of fun to get out of your comfort zone on that end of things, isn't it?
It is, really.
Caleb's very much out of his comfort zone in this role.
So
he gets to wander through the stage or wander across the stage and actually in the audience. And he's been reacting to nothing the past few weeks because he doesn't have audience members in the audience to talk to and move with. So it's going to be super fun when we get these little kids. We've got a matinee tomorrow, and we're going to use the students from East and West and St. Pat's up on the stage as our volunteer spellers. And oh man, I think it's just going to be so much more fun. It's always more fun when you have an audience and you can get a reaction out of people. And we've heard the jokes thousands of times at this point.
And some of them still make me laugh.
Yeah.
So
just perfectly timed. It's a really funny show.
Yeah,
watch it.
We're so excited just to have an audience to share this with. The kids have worked so hard, and it is so much fun. It is a show you will regret not coming to. It is awesome.
All right. Well, Annie, Caleb, break a leg this weekend. Sarah, we appreciate you taking some time to tell us about the production coming up starting tonight at the Waukon High School Auditorium. Great luck with the production this weekend. Congrats on all the work that you've put towards this, and it all comes to fruition. And I imagine by Sunday afternoon, it'll be really rewarding. Best of luck to you again.
Thanks so much,
you.
Aaron.
Again, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, Thursday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon at Waukon High School's auditorium. Our thanks to our guests on the program this morning, Annie Ellingson, Caleb Perkins, and Sarah Bieber. The Waukon High School Musical, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, starts tonight at 7 o'clock, Saturday night at 7 o'clock, and a Sunday afternoon matinee at 1 o'clock. Best of luck to them in that performance. Head to the Facebook page of the Waukon High School Music Department to order tickets for the event. You can even sign up to be a spelling bee guest if you want to, as they just talked about during that interview. That ought to be fun. You can have some fun and be a part of watching good kids seeing their hard work come to fruition this weekend at Waukon High School. I want to thank LauraAnn Gilbertson. She's the chief curator of the Vesterheim Norwegian American Museum, a new exhibit, Innovators and Inventors. There's a lot of things that have been created over the years by Norwegian Americans. And that's what the exhibit is all about. A couple of programs coming up next Monday night and Tuesday, and the Monday after that, I should say, Vesterheim.org for all of the information. And we always appreciate the opportunity to talk to Brian Huinker of Group Benefit Partners in Decorah. Brian brought up the information that you need to know regarding the health insurance exchange, which is now open and will be open until January 15th. Don't forget, each and every week we post this show to YouTube as well, so you can see the folks that we talk to on a week in and week out basis. Our Town available on YouTube, and we put it on all of our Facebook pages of the One Us Communication stations as well. So if you missed this show, you can watch it over via our YouTube channel. Our thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust. Our thanks to our guests, and our thanks to you for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Our thanks to our guests on the program this morning, Annie Ellingson, Caleb Perkins, and Sarah Bieber. The Waukon High School Musical, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, starts tonight at 7 o'clock. Saturday night at 7 o'clock, and a Sunday afternoon matinee at 1 o'clock. Best of luck to them in that performance. Head to the Facebook page of the Waukon High School Music Department to order tickets for the event. And you can even sign up to be a spelling bee guest if you want to, as they just talked about during that interview. That ought to be fun. You can have some fun and be a part of watching good kids seeing their hard work come to fruition this weekend at Waukon High School. I want to thank LauraAnn Gilbertson. She's the chief curator of the Vesterheim Norwegian American Museum, a new exhibit, Innovators and Inventors. There's a lot of things that have been created over the years by Norwegian Americans, and that's what the exhibit is all about. A couple of programs coming up next Monday night and Tuesday, and the Monday after that, I should say, Vesterheim.org for all of the information. And we always appreciate the opportunity to talk to Brian Huinker of Group Benefit Partners in Decorah. Brian brought up the information that you need to know regarding the health insurance exchange, which is now open and will be open until January 15th. Don't forget, each and every week we post this show to YouTube as well, so you can see the folks that we talk to on a week in and week out basis. Our Town available on YouTube, and we put it on all of our Facebook pages of the One Us Communication stations as well. So if you missed this show, you can watch it over via our YouTube channel. Our thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust. Our thanks to our guests, and our thanks to you for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.